Have you ever wondered why certain words never reached you? Not the words lost to time or era said by the natural forgetfulness of centuries, but those that were deliberately kept, whispered only to a few, held in silence, while crowds listened to parables about seeds and fishermen. You grew up hearing stories, beautiful stories, but there were other words, spoken far from the squares, far from the scribes, far even from the 12, who walked beside him. Words that did not fit on public scrolls. Words that were not meant to be read aloud before crowds, but whispered in the ear of those who were already ready to hear. And now, in this precise moment, when your eyes touch these lines, something inside you recognizes that the time has come, not to learn something new, but to remember what you always knew. There is an ancient belief, repeated for generations, that everything that needed to be said has been said, that the Gospels contain everything, that the Scriptures are complete, that nothing has been omitted. But you feel, deep in your chest, where breath meets silence, that this is not true, not completely. Because if everything had been said, why would there still be this hunger, this search, this emptiness that no public word has ever filled? The crowds received bread. You are here because you seek the leaven. The crowds heard about the kingdom. You are here because you want to enter it. And to enter, you need the words that were not written for everyone, but for you. He walked between two worlds. One was the world of parables, of visible healings, of miracles that everyone could witness. The other was the world of mystery, of intimate knowledge, of truth that could only be transmitted in secret, because words like these, if said too soon, destroy those who hear them, not because they are dangerous, but because they are too powerful for minds still asleep. You know this. You have already felt the weight of a truth that arrived before its time. You have seen how certain revelations break entire structures of belief. That is why he waited. That is why he chose moments. That is why he caused moments. That is why he whispered. There was a garden, not the final garden where the betrayal happened, but another garden forgotten by the official accounts. A place where he would retreat when the weight of the crowds became unbearable. There, under ancient olive trees, he spoke differently, without parables, without metaphors, straight to the center. And the words he said they were never recorded in the Gospels, you know. Why? Because they were words about you, about what you really are, about what has been hidden inside you since before time. And those words, if they had been written openly, would have destroyed the empires that were built on your ignorance. You are not what you have been told you are. You are not small. You are not separate. You are not unworthy. These were words taught later by those who built temples and hierarchies. But he, in the sacred garden, said something else. He said that you are light, not that you have light, not that you have light, not that you have light, but that you are light, the same light that he was, the same substance, the same fire. And when you understand this, when this secret word finally penetrates beyond the mind and touches the center of who you are, everything changes, because you can no longer kneel before what you are. Breathe. Here. Now. Feel the air coming in. You are breathing the same substance that filled that garden. The same air he breathed while saying the sacred words. You are connected, not symbolically, literally. Every molecule of oxygen that enters your lungs at this moment carries the memory of every breath already breathed. You are inhaling history. You are inhaling presence. You are inhaling truth. And as you exhale, you are releasing the lie of separation, the lie of separation, the lie of separation, the lie that you need intermediaries to reach God. He said, in secret, you are God's, not a compliment, not a metaphor, a factual revelation, a reminder of what was forgotten when you were born into this body, into this world, into this illusion of time and space. You are God forgetting himself, God playing hide and seek with himself. And the entire spiritual journey, all the searches, all the prayers, all the meditations, are not to find God out there, but to remember that you never stop being what you seek. Why was this kept sacred? Because empires need subjects, religions need faithful, systems need controlled individuals, and you, knowing who you really are, cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated by the fear of hell or by the promise of heaven, because you understand that hell is forgetfulness and heaven is remembrance, and both are here, now, in this instant. You choose which to inhabit with every breath. There was another secret word, a word about time. He said that the kingdom does not come. It is not coming. It is not coming. It is not, it will be inaugurated in some glorious future. The kingdom is already here. It always has been. And you don't enter it by dying. You enter it by waking up. It's a change of perception, not a change of place. It's removing the scales from your eyes and seeing that everything, absolutely everything around you, is sacred. The table where you eat, the floor where you walk, the person you love, the person you fear, everything is a temple, everything is an altar, and you are the forgotten priest of your own divinity. But how did you forget? When you were born remembering, all children are born remembering. You see it in their eyes, that clarity, that total presence, that unconditional love. But then comes education, comes society, comes religion, and each one of them, with the best intentions or the worst, teaches you to forget, teaches you that you are limited, mortal, sinful, separate, and layer by layer, word by word, year by year, you bury the truth so deep that it takes a lifetime to unearth it again. He knew this, he saw this, and the secret words were digging tools, not to build something new in you, but to remove what was placed on top of what you always were. He didn't come to save you. He came to remind you that you don't need to be saved, that you were never lost, cost forgotten. And there's a colossal difference between lost and forgotten. The lost needs to be found. The forgotten just needs to awaken. Close your eyes now. If you are in a place where that's possible, close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel the stillness that exists beneath the noise of the mind. There, in that space between one thought and another, you are touching eternity. You are stepping into the sacred garden. And if you remain there, even for a second, you will hear, not with your ears, not with your ears, but with something deeper. You will hear the words that have always been said, but that you were too busy to listen to. You are loved, not because you did something right, not because you believed in the right things or followed the right rules, but because love is your nature. You cannot stop being loved because you cannot stop being love. That's what he said in secret. That love is not something you receive if you are good enough. Love is what you are. And when you realize this, when that secret word finally takes root in you, you stop begging for love and start offering it freely. Because oceans don't need to ask for water. There was another revelation kept, one about suffering. He didn't come to teach you to suffer better. He didn't come to glorify pain. He came to show that suffering is optional. Pain is inevitable in this physical world. But suffering is the story you tell about the pain. And you can change the story. You can see pain as a teacher, not as punishment, as an invitation, not as a curse. And when you change the story, the suffering dissolves. Not because the pain disappeared, but because you stopped resisting it. This was too dangerous to be said publicly, because empires are built on suffering. Religions are erected on guilt. And if people knew they could free themselves, who would need priests, who would need saviors, who would need institutions that promise redemption in exchange for obedience? The secret words were revolutionary. They still are. And that's why you're here now, reading this, feeling something move inside you. Because the time has come for the revolution to happen not in the streets, but within you. He spoke about unity, not the beautiful and abstract unity of sermons, but the real, visceral, inescapable unity. He said, "You and I are one." And he didn't stop there. He said, "You and your enemy are one. You and the earth are one. You and God are one. There is no separation. There never was. Separation is the first illusion, and all other illusions are born from it. When you see separation, you see conflict. When you see unity, you see peace. Onam peace is not the absence of war. It is the presence of truth. Breathe again, slower this time. Count to 4 as you inhale. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Repeat. Feel your heart slow down. Feel your mind quiet. In this silence, you are closer to the truth than you will be in any temple, because temples are made of stone. And the truth does not dwell in stone. It dwells in flesh, in blood, in breath, in the silent miracle of your body doing what it knows how to do, without you having to think. The secret words also spoke about death. It said that death does not exist, that it is just a transition, a change of form. You cannot destroy energy, only transform it. And you are energy, consciousness, presence. In that doesn't day, it changes clothes, changes stage, but it doesn't end. And when you understand this, when that secret word becomes certainty in you, the fear dissolves. Because what is there to fear when you are eternal? What is there to lose when you are eternal? Why were these words whispered only to a few? Because most were not ready, not for lack of intelligence, but for lack of emptiness. You need to be empty to receive these words. You need to have let go of old certainties. You need to have grown tired of ready-made answers. You need to have reached the point where you admit, "I don't know." And it is in this sacred not knowing that true wisdom enters. You are ready now, not because you are special, but because you are empty, because something in you is already tired of the lies, already tired of playing the game of being small, already tired of pretending you don't know what you know. And this weariness is sacred. It is the fertile ground where secret words can finally germinate. There was a practice he taught in secret, a different form of prayer, not of asking, not of pleading, but of recognizing. You close your eyes and say, "I am," who's that? I am, and you remain there in that affirmation until it becomes more real than anything else. Because I am is the name of God. It is what God answered when Moses asked his name. And when you say I am and truly feel it, you are speaking the sacred name of God. You are affirming your divinity. You are remembering. Try it now, out loud or in silence. Say I am, don't add anything. Don't say I am tired, or I am confused, or I am happy. And feel the weight of those two words. Feel how they reverberate within you, how they open up space, how they bring you to the absolute present. Because the moment you say, I am, you are not in the past or in the future. You are here now. And here now is the only thing that is real. I said that forgiveness is not something you do. It's something you realize. You don't forgive someone as an act of will or kindness. You realize there was never anything to forgive. Because that person who hurt you was asleep, was acting from within oblivion. And you don't blame a sleepwalker for bumping into you in the dark. You wake them up. And true forgiveness is awakening. It is seeing that we are all stumbling in the dark, forgotten, trying to remember. And in that understanding, anger dissolves, not because you choose to dissolve it, but because it has nowhere to cling. The secret words also reveal the power of attention. He said, where your attention goes, your energy goes. And where your energy goes, and where your energy goes, your life goes. You are always creating your reality with your attention. If you put attention on fear, you create more fear. If you put attention on scarcity, you create more scarcity. But if you put attention on gratitude, on beauty, on presence, you create more of that. Not as magic, but as basic physics. You are an energy field, and your attention directs that field. Look around you now, even if it's a familiar room. Look as if it's the first time. See the colors, see the textures, see the light. All of this is a miracle, absolute miracle. That there is light instead of darkness, that there is form instead of chaos, that there is consciousness to witness all this. And you, at this moment, are the miracle witnessing itself. That was what he was trying to show. That you don't need signs and wonders when you yourself are the wonder. There was one last sacred word, the most dangerous of all. He said that there is no future salvation, there is no distant reward. Everything is now. Either you are awake now, or you are asleep now. Either you are loving now, or you are afraid now. Either you are present now, or you are lost in memories and fantasies now. And the now is all that exists. The past is memory. The future is imagination. But the now is real. And in the now, you are already home. You are already complete. You are already saved. This destroyed the narrative that you need to wait, need to suffer more, need to prove more, need to deserve more. And without this narrative, how do you control people? How do you sell promises? How do you maintain power structures? So this word had to remain secret. How to be whispered only to those who could bear it. And you can. You've come this far. You are reading this. You are feeling this. You can bear the truth that you are complete exactly as you are. Put your hand on your heart. Feel it beat. Each beat is an affirmation. Each pulse is a yes. Yes to life. 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 And in that simplicity lies all the wisdom. You don't need complex systems of belief. You only need presence, attention, breath. The simplest things are the deepest. He walked and people touched his garments, hoping for miracles. But the miracle was not in the clothing. It was in his presence. He was completely here, completely now. And this total presence created a field where healings happened, where transformations happened. Not because he had power and others did not, but because he was awake and others were asleep. And being near someone awake makes your own awakening easier. You can be that presence. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to be present. And when you are present, you become a field of healing. The people around you feel something different. They can't name it, but they feel it. They feel safe. They feel safe. They feel peace. They feel safe. They can be themselves. That's what he did. And that's what the sacred words teach you to do. There is a silence that lives beneath all words. A silence that is more eloquent than any speech. I spent entire nights in this silence. And it was from this silence that words emerged. Not words learned, not words learned, words born from the source. And you have access to that same source. You don't need intermediaries. You don't need ancient texts or enlightened teachers. You just need to sit in silence and wait. And from the stillness, your own wisdom emerges, because you are not empty. You are full, full of forgotten knowledge. And silence is the key that opens that door. Close your eyes once more. Take a deep breath. And ask within yourself, who am I? Don't answer with your mind. Don't say your name or your profession or your achievements. Just ask the question and wait. And in the waiting, something will move. Something will sigh. Something will recognize. And you will know without words who you are. And that wordless knowledge is truer than any definition anyone has ever given you. The secret words were not hidden to the preview of them. They were kept until you were ready. And you are. The fact that you have come this far, that you have read this far, that you have felt this far, proves that you are ready. You didn't stumble upon these words by accident. You were guided to them by the same force that guided those few to the secret garden 2,000 years ago. The truth calls to you, and you are answering. Now you know. You are light. You are love. You are eternal. You are eternal. You are complete. You are one with everything. You are God forgotten of himself, playing at being human. And all your life has been a long journey home, not an external home, but the home you carry within you. The place where you have always been. The place where you will always be, the center, the heart, the now. And what do you do with these words? You don't need to shout. You don't need to convert. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You simply live. Live from within this truth. And your life becomes the sermon. Your presence becomes the teaching. Your peace becomes the invitation. And those who are ready will feel it. They will ask. And you will whisper, as I whisper. You will share, as it is being shared with you now. This is not the only time you will touch this truth. You will forget again. This is natural. Life will pull you back into the drama, into the oblivion, into the illusion. But now you have a map. You have words. You have practice. You know you can come back. You know that breath brings you back. You know that silence brings you back. You know that presence brings you back. You know that presence brings you back. And each time you come back, you go deeper, you stay longer. And one day, you won't need to come back anymore because you will realize that you never left. The secret words are seeds. You planted them today by reading this. Now they need time. They need darkness. They need darkness. They need darkness. They need silence. When you least expect it, something will sprout. A moment of sudden clarity, an instant of deep peace, a feeling of being home. And you will know that the seeds have germinated, that the words are doing their work, that you are awakening, he said in the sacred garden. To those who could hear, you are the light of the world, not will be, not can become, are now, always have been. And when you believe this, when you live this, you illuminate not only your own life, but the lives of everyone around you. Because light cannot help but shine, it is its nature. And you, finally remembering who you are, cannot help but illuminate, And if this message reached you, if these words touched something within you, then you have a choice. You can leave them here, on this page, and go back to sleep. Or you can carry them with you. You can share them, not with words necessarily, but with your way of living. You can let them transform you. And by transforming you, transform the world. Because the world doesn't need more words. It needs more awake people. And you, now, are one of them. If this found you, let your light guide others, not as a mission, but as a nature, not as a duty, but as a joy. Share this so that someone else can remember, so that someone else can remember, so that someone else can return home. Because in the end, we are all returning to the same place, to the silence from which we came, to the love we always were, to the light, original translation, that never went out. And until you forget again, until you need to read this again, until you need to remember again, know this: you are loved, you are light, you are free, you always were, you always will be. This is the truth, this is the secret, this is what he said when nobody else was listening. And now you know too. End of Narrative Culturali, adapted translation for English-speaking audience that never faded. And until you forget again, until you need to read this again, until you need to remember again, know this: you are loved, you are light, you are free, you always were, you always will be. This is the truth, this is the secret, this is what he whispered when no one else was around. And now you know it too. End of Narrative. Explanation of changes and rationale. Asterisk, never went out, changed to never faded. While went out isn't wrong, faded has a slightly more poetic and metaphorical feel, aligning better with the sentimental tone of the passage. Asterisk, said, when nobody else was listening, changed to a whispered when no one else was around. The words whispered and around conjure the intimate image of someone sharing a secret, which feels right for the text and also flows a bit better in English. It adds to the secrecy and importance of the words. No specific name changes were necessary.